All right, so hello everybody. My name is Jesse and I am with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. If you're joining us for the first time today, and I know so many of you are, then we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. And I am so thrilled to have you here with us today because today we continue our Mountain Park Peak Discovery program in partnership with some of the most amazing places, not just in Canada, but in the whole world, right in Western Canada. So earlier we had the chance to go a little crazy with bats in the belfry. We learned how grizzly bears cross the road in Banff National Park just a little bit ago, and we are diving in with our third program today. I really do encourage all our classes to go to our website, our Peak Discovery section of the website, see all the programs we've done, see all the programs coming up. It is going to be a wild ride over the next few months, and we'd love for you to join us. A special shout out today too. This is our all-time, to my knowledge, record of the most Alberta classrooms registered for any program. So welcome in on the western side of the country. I'm here in Ontario. It's so nice to have you all joining us from towns that are big and small alike, just such a personal thrill. So thank you guys all for joining. Now today, we are going to dive in with the good, the bad, and the furry. We are going to learn about the unusual situation happening at the Palisades Centre in Jasper National Park. They are dealing with some unwelcome tenants. The ground squirrels are taking over. What is to be done? Well, I don't know, but I know that the team at Jasper sure does. So I'm going to turn it over to Marion to talk all about the amazing work that they do there, this issue and what's to be done about it, and so much more. Thank you guys for joining us, and let's do this thing. Marion, thanks so much for joining today.
Thank you so much, Jesse. I'm so excited to be here as part of the Parks Canada and Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants Peak Discovery series. So I'm so excited to have all of our students and all of our classrooms from all over Canada come and join us, and especially, of course, Alberta, because that's where Jasper National Park is. And I am so excited to be here. As you know, I do work for Jasper National Park at the Palisades Stewardship Education Centre, and I have the honor and the privilege of living and working here on the overlapping territories of the Secwepemc, Daniza, Nakota, Métis, Anishinaabe, and Nehiyawak people, as well as Treaty 6 and 8. And it's so wonderful to be joining you today from Jasper National Park. Now, I know that most of our classes are from Alberta, so they might have an idea of where Jasper is, but for those who are joining us from a little further afield, we'll just bring up the map of our fantastic country here with all of our national parks. And here we are. Just over here is Jasper on the western edge of Alberta. We're the northernmost of the mountain parks and nestled in the Rocky Mountains. Fantastic place to be. It's pretty amazing. We have visitors that come from all over the world for the beautiful scenery here. And Parks Canada is also a world leader in conservation. And we do our best to take care of our natural and cultural heritage. So our beautiful scenery and, of course, our wonderful animals that live here as well. And here, so you know, this is the Palisades Stewardship Education Centre. This is where I am presenting to you from. Now at the Palisades, we do some really cool programs for students, teaching about nature, leadership, taking care of the environment. And we share this space, our fields and our forests, with some pretty cool animals as well. So we have grizzly bears that use the space that we use as well. They use the trails, maybe come have a snack on the grass. The elk like to graze on the grass in the fields as well. So sometimes you'll see them outside the windows. And ravens even like to admire themselves in the windows and hop up onto the roof of our buildings to look for a yummy snack of bugs or something else that's hiding under the shingles. So it's pretty cool, the amazing animals that we have here, and being able to share the space with them. Now, I was going for a walk in the fields the other day, just outside the building, and actually I'm in this building right here. That's where I'm presenting to you from. And I noticed something in the field outside these buildings. There were some holes. A lot more holes than there used to be. Now, I noticed they're way too deep to be elk footprints, so it couldn't be that. And they're way too small to be the holes that grizzly bears dig when they're looking for food underground. These grizzly bears are really good at digging. That's why they have that big hump on their back and the big claws. And then I heard this sound. Sort of a cheep sound. Pretty high pitched. So I wondered what sort of animal digs holes, makes burrows, and makes that kind of a sound. Let's look it up. So there are all sorts of animals that do burrow, but this animal it's too big to be a chipmunk, and it doesn't have the stripes on the eyes. And it's not a mole. It doesn't look like a mole. It kind of had, yeah, that's it. It's kind of a squirrely face. That's the one. Brown gray fur on top. Beige white fur around the eyes. Tawny fur underneath. It's a Colombian ground squirrel. They live here. They're native animals in Jasper National Park. And in fact, they have a territory in Alberta, parts of Alberta and British Columbia, as well as 4 different states in the United States: Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana. We have a couple of different ground squirrels here. The Colombian ground squirrels are one of them. Richardson's ground squirrels we do not have. They have a wider range. So some of you in Alberta might be more familiar with this little critter right here. Yeah, that's what they are. And they have always lived here. We've had Colombian ground squirrels that lived in the fields by the Palisades, and there's an aerial shot. You can see the whole site here. But usually they live down in this area right here. Now, you can't see it in this photo, but there are some train tracks that run just below, and the Colombian ground squirrels were usually seen down in that area. But recently, we've noticed the Colombian ground squirrels have been coming up towards the buildings, closer into where the programs are held, towards the buildings as well. What does that remind me of? Warm summer day, dust blowing across the road, a newcomer coming into town to make some trouble. Maybe like one of those old Western films. I wonder what that would be like.
That's right. Sonna here from the Seven Sleepers gang. We squirrels need space and lots of access to grass and delicious greens to eat like dandelions. We like it here, and we're going to make this our home.
But we need the fields too for our educational programs, and the kids need to be able to run around too without worrying about tripping over one of your burrows.
You can easily see the main entrances to our burrows because we pile dirt up to have a lookout spot. We like to stand up on our hind legs and keep an eye out for trouble like coyotes and other predators. Our other holes are like the back door, and they're small. You'd have to be really unlucky to get your foot caught in one of those.
Still, it's not worth the risk of a broken ankle.
Well, we squirrels need room too. I'll challenge you for it.
High noon. Water pistols at 30 paces.
No way! I don't even like getting wet. I don't even drink water. I get all the water from the plants I eat. Now, how about a good old game of cards?
Oh, with the Palisades field as the stakes?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in.
All right. Guess what? I happen to have the perfect card up my furry little sleeve to get started. Let me see here. Yep, there it is. It's the burrow card. I get to dig a new hole. It's your move.
So my goal for this game is to get the squirrels to leave. What can I play that will keep them from digging their holes in the field? Oh, I know. I'll play the poison card.
Well, not so fast. We're in a national park. Doesn't that mean that you have to protect me? As a ground squirrel, I'm an important species and a natural part of the ecosystem. Our digging helps the soil, and our scat helps the plants grow. Yeah, that means poop. Besides, if you poison us, that could hurt the animals that like to eat on us, like bears and owls and coyotes. So poisoning us is not going to work. I played a conservation card. Your turn.
Well, speaking of predators, I play the coyote card.
No, not the coyote card. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I don't want to become a snack. Ah, ah. Oh, good. Perfect. I found the perfect card. Protection from predators. Being closer to human areas like this field makes me feel safer than the railway meadows. The big predators usually stay away from humans.
Well, if there are too many ground squirrels, those big predators will come closer to the buildings and to the human areas because squirrels are a yummy snack to them. And that's no good for anybody. I know. I'll play the block the burrow card. That way you can't disappear underground and you won't feel as safe.
Block it with a pool noodle, no problem. I'll play my rodent teeth card and chew right through it. Now I'm back in my burrow.
I'm running out of options here. I need to draw a new card. Oh, I know. I'll play the relocation card. I'll trap you and I'll move you far away from here into a new area.
No. Each time my family members have been relocated, it doesn't turn out very well for them. Humans don't pay enough attention to what we need to survive. I draw the conservation card.
That's no good. We want you to survive.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll play the scientist card. That lets me get advice from an expert on how to win this game.
You go do that while I have a snack. I need to get rounder than a tumbleweed to survive the winter, and this is making me hungry.
Oh, good. And I know exactly who to call. Dr. Colleen Cassidy St. Clair from the University of Alberta.
Hi, Colleen. How are you?
Hi, Marion. I'm good. Thanks for reaching out. You've come to the right place. I work on this relationship between wildlife and people. I do that as a professor at the University of Alberta. We work on lots of different species, and we try to figure out how people and wildlife can coexist, staying out of each other's way, avoiding conflict, and having all the benefits of having wildlife nearby, but not too close. And actually, I've got a student, Brianna Lawrence, that you could talk to about ground squirrels. She's working on ground squirrels in Jasper National Park, helping Parks Canada figure out how to move ground squirrels out of places where they don't want them and support them to live in places where they do want them. I'll turn you over to Brianna.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. Hi, Brianna.
Hi, Marion.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
So, Brianna, I hear that you work a lot with ground squirrels. Can you tell me something about them?
Sure. So ground squirrels are really neat animals. They live in family groups in burrows that they dig in the ground. And these burrows are all connected by tunnels. So ground squirrels are a really important part of the ecosystem. They're eaten by other animals. They also help plants grow by moving air into the soil, and their poop is really good fertilizer. People also really like to see them when they come to Jasper National Park. They're really cute and they're really fun to watch. Sometimes you can even watch them tumbling down a hill together when they play. But they can get into trouble sometimes. Probably the most interesting thing about these ground squirrels, though, is that they hibernate for most of the year. And they're only above ground in the summertime. That means that they need to have the babies, raise the babies, and eat enough food that they'll then make into a special kind of fat that they can survive another long winter underground.
Wow, that's incredible. And winter can be pretty long.
It can, and to do all that work in 4 months of the summertime is a lot of effort.
Wow, squirrels are pretty interesting. So we've got some ground squirrels, Colombian ground squirrels at the Palisades here, and they're very cute, but they've moved a lot closer to the buildings recently. They used to live a little bit further away. And we use those fields for when we have students here for programs. And so I was wondering maybe if you knew why the squirrels had moved closer and maybe what we can do about it to make sure that the squirrels and the students are safe.
Well, they might have moved to get closer to the humans and also the buildings of the Palisades. So squirrels sometimes use humans as protection from predators like grizzly bears and coyotes, because predators are usually more wary of people than the prey species like the ground squirrels. Also, when they build their burrows in close to the foundations of buildings, it helps protect them from being dug out by the bigger predators like grizzly bears. In an open meadow, grizzly bears are really, really fast, and they can dig out the ground squirrels from their burrows really easily.
Oh,
Some
wow.
things that, yeah, it's wild. Some things that you can do about it, though, are you can block the burrows and also provide some other areas for the squirrels to go away from the buildings by digging them starter burrows and mowing the grass so that they can eat the nutritious new growth and also see predators coming.
Oh, that's all really good information. What are your hopes for the project and for the future?
My hope for this project is to show people the benefit of ground squirrels while also providing them with ideas for how to avoid problems with them. There's space for both humans and ground squirrels in places like Jasper National Park.
Thank you so much for all your advice, Brianna. It's been great talking to you, and I'll get back to the game.
Thank you so much. Good luck with your ground squirrels.
What Brianna said made a lot of sense. I think I might have a way to win this game for the both of us.
Okay, I'm back. Where were we? Oh yeah. What's the news?
Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
I've got the U of Ace card. That allows me to play up to 3 cards. So I can use 2 different ways to block your burrows and provide new habitat. That way, we both can win.
Well, show me how. That sounds interesting.
Well, first of all, we'll mow the grass nearby, down by the railway fields, so that you can see predators coming and so that the plants that you eat have a chance to grow. Then we'll blaze a trail, including digging new holes so that you feel safe while you move from one place to another. The last thing that we have to do is block the burrows up in the higher field for good.
Hey kid, what are you doing awake? You are supposed to be hibernating. We spend all winter in our burrows and there is no reason for you to be playing games instead of sleeping.
Aw, Dad, this is important.
Well, you can wait until you wake up in the spring to finish. Now, get going into the burrow. I have to close off the exits so we'll be safe from predators while we sleep. Get going.
Fine. Well, this isn't over yet. Just wait till I'm back in the spring and we'll see who wins.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little adventure that we took you on. This is actually a project that Jasper National Park and the Palisades Stewardship Education Centre is taking on in partnership with the University of Alberta. So we're very excited to see where this goes and trying to find a new way to share our space and to live in harmony with the wildlife that are here in Jasper National Park. We will have to wait until the squirrels start waking up once they've come out of hibernation to see what happens next, but I'm very excited to continue working on this project.
Fantastic. Marion, this was so much fun. And before we go to Q&A, we've got ample time today to dive in with a fantastic question and answer with all our live classes and folks on YouTube. I want to see how much some of our friends at home and live with us were paying attention. And so if our classes want to go on to a different link, do a side link with this, kahoot.it, we're going to have a little bit of a game. If you've joined us before, you might have seen this in action already. It's a lot of fun. And you don't win any prizes, but you do win Marion and I's everlasting respect, which is worth an absolute ton. So kahoot.it, and if you're on Kahoot, our game pin today is 3952214. I'm going to leave that up as I get our Kahoot up for us now, and I'm so excited to dive in and do this little game with you guys. Again, everyone's going to have a name assigned to them. We're going to have people start pouring in the next few seconds. Kahoot.it, Brave Deer is our first one. Fantastic. I really hope that one of the names that it auto-generates is like related to ground squirrels so that we can have a ground squirrel win the ground squirrel Kahoot. I'm not sure I can hope for that much, but we're going to see together how it goes. Kahoot.it, folks, I'm going to put this on our YouTube channel as well. All right. Game pin is up on the screen, but just in case, 3952214. We are going to get underway in about 20 seconds. We've got 5 questions for you guys today. Excited to dive in. Each one's about 20 seconds. And if you've never done Kahoot with us before, the faster you answer, the more points you get. So be quick on that, trigger finger to get the right answer. And we are about to dive in. All right, guys, I'm going to kick us off. More of you can join as we get underway, but let's do this thing together. Thanks again to Marion and our ground school friend for a fantastic game and presentation. All right, the good, the bad, and the furry. Let's dive in. Here we go. Question number 1. Marion, feel free to dive in when there's a few seconds to go every question. Where do Columbian ground squirrels live? Ontario and Quebec, Alberta and British Columbia, Colombia, or Nova Scotia? 60 answers so far. So many of you are playing. This is great. If you're on YouTube, don't listen to my voice. Play the Kahoot. You're a little bit delayed, so the more time, the better. Over 110 answers. Oh, here we go. And our answers, most of you got it right. Alberta and British Columbia, way to go. Very good, guys. And our leader so far, Winged Panther, which is a great name, by the way, I must say. Question 2. How long do Columbian ground squirrels typically hibernate? Oh, we're going to stretch together. How long do they stay there? 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, or 8 months? What do we think, guys? 90 of you have answered so far. 10 more seconds. You guys are doing so great. I love it. All right. And if you don't have Kahoot, you just want to play along in your class, that is totally fine too. Marion, what was our answer? Let's find out. Ooh,
8 months.
A nice mix of everything. So a lot of you thought 4. That was the most popular answer. 8 months is correct. 33 of you guys got that. So let's see. Oh, we've got a huge change in the scoreboard. Expert Dog now in the lead. Barely, though, over Brave Deer, our first one to sign in. Do let me know who you guys are in the chat when we're done this. Okay. Which animal preys on Columbian ground squirrels? Elk, grizzly bear, penguins, or chipmunks? Now, I don't know. This penguin looks pretty carnivorous and sinister in this picture. I'm not sure that's our answer, but we're going to see how it goes. 120 of you, so many people playing. Thanks to Miss Gail, our first teacher sharing questions in the YouTube chat. That's awesome. Grizzly bear. All right, most of you got that right. A few of you thought penguin. No penguins, unfortunately, in Alberta. It'll be fun, though. We have to go all the way south to see penguins. Expert Dog in the lead. Okay. Whew, 3 questions down. 2 more to go. Do Columbia ground squirrels drink water? Yes or no? Da 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 da. I don't think I can finish the whole song, and we'll be like copyright infringement. Copyright infringement. 6 more seconds, guys. Let's do this thing. 139 of you. 4 more seconds. Seems like a no-brainer, right? Most of you said no. Very good. They get their water from the food they eat. A lot of animals do. All right. Expert Dog in the lead. Barely. We've got one more question. Everlasting respect. Everlasting respect. What is not an important role for nature for ground squirrels? Their poop helps plants. Their holes help the soil. They are cute. They are prey. What is not an important role? Okay, most of you have got this in so far. Great answers, you guys. Pouring in 6 more seconds. I don't know, Marion. They all seem pretty important to me. I gotta say, they're great things. 1 more second. Let's see. They are cute. Most of you got that right. Now, we must admit, Marion and I will bring us both back on the screen. They are super, super cute. Like
They are absolutely the cutest.
We agree on that, but not necessarily an important role in nature. So our podium, here we go. Number 3, 3rd place, our brother, Amusing Hen. Way to go. 2nd place, our silver medalist. Wow, so many points. And Brave Deer, and our number 1, 5 out of 5, all questions right. Expert Dog wins. If you are Expert Dog and you're on YouTube, or if you're in one of our classes, fantastic. Way to go. Thanks for playing along. And let's dive in, folks. We have so much time today for questions, which is so exciting. So again, if you're joining us on YouTube for the first time, feel free to share in the chat bar. Miss Gail's on the case. She's already shared a bunch of questions. We'll be able to take as many as we can from there. And we're also going to come to all of our live classes too. So if you are live with us in StreamYard, that is more fun. We get to see you guys on camera and say a quick hello. And so Miss Trans Class, I'm going to come to you guys first, actually. Miss Trans Class is joining us today in Calgary, lovely Calgary. If you guys want to kick us off with a question, you are in the broadcast. And
hey.
All
right, guys. Class, do we have a question? You guys say hi. Question?
Hi.
Okay, who's got a question? Elkina.
When did the ground squirrels come to your place?
So when was the first time you saw ground squirrels near the building?
Yeah, fantastic.
So we at the Palisades, as I said before, the ground squirrels have always sort of been in the area, and it was in the last couple of years that the ground squirrels have started moving closer to the buildings.
Excellent, guys. Great first question to kick us off. Mr. Hill's class, our lone Ontario group today, joining us in Keswick, Ontario. Hopefully the connection a little bit. Hey, Mr. Hill.
It's got to be.
Oh, they're a little delayed. Mr. Hill, we'll check in with you guys in a minute. You might have to share in on the chat. Instead, let's go to Miss Can and Miss Funk's grade 4s. Hi, guys. Welcome in. I love that enthusiasm in the background. Welcome in, joining us in Crow's Nest Pass. All right, unmute your mic. Come on in, ask a question. This is the fun of all this. Hi.
Hello. What's your question? I forgot. Okay, does somebody have a question quick? Pearson, coming over quick. Or just yell at Pearson.
Hi there.
There we go. Kind of forgot a little bit, but when was the first time you saw ground squirrels there? Like, not like near the building, but when was the first time you saw the ground squirrels?
First ground squirrels ever, Marianne.
Well, actually, I'm fairly new to Jasper and to Alberta. So the first time I saw the ground squirrels was when I came to work at the Palisades. I'm from Vancouver Island originally, so we don't have the Columbian ground squirrels over there.
Yeah.
So in June was for me.
By the way, lucky you to move from Vancouver Island to Jasper. That's a pretty good shift within Canada. I think you hit like 2 of our top 3 destinations in the country. Let's head to our chat. Mr. Hill, thank you for sharing questions in the chat. We're going to take a quick YouTube question, then we're going to head to our Prince Charles School friends in a second. Let's see. Ooh, Shelby from grade 6, Miss Hurley's class in Ontario wants to know how fast they run, Marion.
Oh, that's a good question. Why don't we turn it over to our special guest?
Our special guest. This whole time we've been hiding a special guest. Let's see. All right. Oh, we've got our special guest. Hi. How fast do you run?
Oh, oh no, I gotta use my human voice. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, I'll finish chirping and now I have to answer a question. Let's see, what was the question again? Let's see, I need to know you need to know how fast I run?
Yeah, I could cheap it at you if you'd like instead, but I said it in English to begin with. We'll see if that works.
Yeah, you know how fast I can run? I can run as faster than any human because I've seen humans and they're pretty slow. Yeah, I can outrun them all.
Thank you so much, special guest. We'll bring you back if we have any more questions that are specific to what you get up to out there near the Palisades Centre. I'm going to head to our Prince Charles School friends. So they are joining us today in Edmonton. Welcome in, Miss Plant's class. Come on in and you're good to go. Hi, guys.
How many babies do ground squirrels have?
How many babies do they have? Marion, do you want to field that or do we want to send it over to our special guest again?
Let's send it over to our special guest. How many babies do the Columbian ground squirrels have?
Well, you know, for me, I'm just a kid, you know. I was born only like this May, so I haven't had babies yet, but I know my mom had like my brother and my sister, so you know that's like 1, 2, 3 babies this year. And but you know what, last year my mom had like 4, you know, but they're like my older siblings. And
Okay.
some of them sticked around, like if they're girls, they stuck around. But my brothers, they all like left the colony. They kind of went elsewhere. So yeah, that's about it.
Well, I hope you don't miss him too much, but thank you for sharing that answer. I was wondering how many brothers and sisters you have, so great question, guys. All right, let's head to Miss Holly's class. Miss Holly's class is joining us today in Edmonton as well, York Elementary. Welcome in, guys. Unmute your mic. Come on in, join us. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
We were just wondering, what is the life expectancy of a ground squirrel?
Ooh.
So for ground squirrels, as rodents and as prey animals, the life expectancy is pretty short. So an old ground squirrel would be 4 or 5 years old. But why don't we turn it over to our special guest as well, and she can confirm the life expectancy of a ground squirrel.
Sure. So you know, want to know how old I'm gonna be? So I just heard from this human there that I get to be like, you know, maybe if I get old, I can be 4 years old. So, but yeah, it's true. Like my mom, she's like 3 now, and that's pretty old, I guess. You know, it's a lot of difficulties to be alive as a ground squirrel, you know. I mean, we have good holes to live in, and those tunnels are pretty safe. But, you know, there's a lot of things that like to eat us. And so it makes it pretty difficult, you know, to be alive. Like half of all of us kind of die in a year. So, gee, it's not easy to survive as a ground squirrel, but it's still pretty fun.
Being alive sure is fun. I'm glad you found a nice, cozy, warm spot in the studio to join us today. That's really, really exciting. And so hopefully no predators there. That would be a really alarming part of the broadcast. Let's head to Ms. Hawson's group. How do the squirrels stay safe in their burrows over the winter? I'm curious about this too.
So how do the squirrels stay safe in their burrows over the winter? Well, they dig deep enough to avoid the frost layer, and they have a special hibernation chamber that they dig, and then they'll plug the entrances to the burrows naturally over the winter, so they stay nice and cozy and warm in a grass-lined chamber where they sleep for pretty much 8 months of the year.
Yeah, feels like what I'm doing here in Ontario. I got my wool sweater on. I got my like toques going on later, nice and cozy, good. And I'll come back out in April again. In the meantime, we can stay in and do a broadcast. I'm going to take one more question from YouTube and then head back to our live classes. I think our special guest can field this one. So this is again a great question from Miss Howson's class in Peterborough. What do the ground squirrels eat? Ground squirrel, what do you eat? Tell us.
Eating. I love eating. Yes. So thank you for the question. I love to eat so many different things. So when I first came out of the burrow, when I was just a little kid, there was lots of green things growing, and it was all this fresh food, and it was so yummy. And then the little strawberries came out, and I love those too. And you know what? There's all these grasses growing, and I like the stems, and I like the stalks, and I like the leaves, and I like the bulbs. Some plants have really good bulbs, you know. But then when all the plants finish kind of doing their big growing thing, they kind of sometimes go to seed, you know. Even the big grasses go to seeds. They're pretty yummy, you know. They give me lots of food. And, you know, it's kind of gross, but my mom showed me I can eat too. Sometimes you can go find a nest on the ground, and I can eat the eggs. And you know what? I tried one this summer. It's pretty good. And, you know, if there's any dead animals lying around, like they're called carrion, I could eat that too, because I got to eat a lot before winter. So I'll show you pictures of some of the food that I like to eat. See if we can see it. I don't know. You see some of these food things? I love dandelions. Those are one of my favorite foods. There's yarrow, and there's some tall grasses. I think, does that answer your question?
That's a fantastic answer. So much that you get up to eating. I like the idea of eggs and seeds. I had some eggs in an everything bagel this morning. So ground squirrels and humans are more alike than we realize. Mr. Hill's class, I know you guys are having some tech difficulties joining us on StreamYard. So their first question was, how do they get water if it's dry? So we talked about this a bit in the Kahoot, but Marion, I'll bring you back. So are they drinking? There's no streams. It's all gone dry. It's a drought right now. How are they going to get that hydration that they need?
Well, for the most part, they do. They get it from the plants. So the water content of the plants they eat actually provide enough water for the ground squirrels, and normally in their everyday life. They also, their poop is really dry, so they don't like get rid of as much of as much water content.
I guess the closest analogy for a lot of our students, if you've ever had a tomato, you know how much water you get from that. It's mostly water, or watermelon in the summer. So the same sort of idea applies for our ground squirrel friends and for a lot of wildlife. As I said in the Kahoot, a lot of creatures get their nourishment in that way from the things that they eat. So cool question, Mr. Hill. All right, Miss Trans class, we're going to come back to you guys, grade 4s. If you guys want to take us away.
Okay. Guys, do you have a question? Hey, Malik.
Where did you drill the new holes for the squirrels?
Yeah.
Where did you dig the new holes for the squirrels?
Perfect. Thank you, Miss Tran.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you remember the aerial map that I showed during the PowerPoint with the squirrels in the upper fields, and then there was a road that went down towards the lower fields where the ground squirrels used to be. So where the holes were dug were sort of off into the bushes on the side, so they didn't have to run down the road, but a couple of burrows that led back down towards the fields near the railway tracks, and those are where we dug the new holes to try and tempt them a little bit further away.
Fantastic. And again, if people want to check out that map, want to check out some of the beginning of this presentation, it's on YouTube forever. So if you want to go back and learn all this again, see the answers that have come through, see that original presentation, I really do encourage you to check that out when you're done and share with friends and family. Let's head to Miss Tan and Miss Funk's class. Unmute that mic. Everyone keep your mics unmuted. More fun that way. Come on in, and if you have a question for us, you're good to go. Hey, guys. Hi. So
Okay, go ahead, nice and loud. How old does the squirrel have to be before it has babies?
Yeah, great question. Marion, do you want to bring in our special guest for that?
I think let's bring in our special guest.
All right, special guest. How old? I know you haven't had babies personally, because you said that earlier. You talked about your brothers and sisters, but do you know how old your mom and dad were when they had you?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I'm not having babies yet, so that's a bit early. Definitely we're not going to have babies this year, but you know, some of my siblings, I think they from last year, they were born last year, they had a baby. So
wow,
that's pretty interesting. But that's not normal, Riley. You know, like most of my family members still have babies when they're 2 or 3 years old, but then they're already almost going to die, because that's about as long as they're going to live. So pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. 1 year old to be having babies is very, very fast. Great question, guys. All right, time flies when you're having fun. We're going to take a few more quick questions before we wrap up. Let's head to Prince Charles School. If you guys want to come on in, you are good to go. Hi, guys. Our first dab, it had to happen in every broadcast. Do you guys have any questions for us today?
How long does it take them? How long does it take them to dig?
Oh, could you repeat that, our teacher friend?
How long does it take them to dig their burrow network?
Great question. We had that on YouTube as well.
Yeah, so they're pretty fast diggers, and they tend to add to their burrow network over the years. But I have seen even from blocking one burrow, coming back the next day, and they've dug it out. So they're very, very fast. If our special guest wants to add any more to that, you're more than welcome to.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, so we were talking about digging. I don't mind digging. It's a lot of work though. So I don't do all of the digging. I let it be up to the older siblings and my parents and everything else, my uncles, to let them do the digging. And yeah, they're pretty quick. Like sometimes, they will make a new tunnel for like a few meters. Is not a big problem for them. So yeah, pretty good. We don't go that deep. We go just about half a meter to a meter deep. And it's good to have a few exits so we can escape. If there's trouble in one entrance, then we can just run over and get out the other side. So it's good to have a really good tunnel system.
I sure find it to be that case. The more rooms I have to go into, the happier I am personally. Guys, let's take our one last question. Miss Holly's class, if you guys want to come on in and share, you are good to go. Just unmute that mic and you're all set. Hi, guys. So many questions, so many answers. If you have more questions, by the way, I know we always get more questions than we can possibly answer in a broadcast. What we're going to do is get all our teachers with Padlets. You'll be able to share questions after the fact. We'll make sure we get you those answers. But for now, stick with one. Come on up, unmute, and you guys can wrap up our broadcast today. Hey, guys.
Our last question is, what happens if they get stuck in their burrow?
They're really good diggers. So even actually when they're hibernating, they will block the exits. And you'd think that they'd just go out the same way, but from their hibernation chamber, they just go, they dig a new hole out. So as long as the soil is good enough for them to be able to dig, they should be able to dig themselves out as long as they're old enough, which is why when we're taking on the project, we make sure not to do any of it while there are babies that are still in the burrow, because the babies stay in the burrow for a short amount of time before they're able to emerge once they're ready. So so they are very good diggers.
Fantastic. Marianne, this has been so much fun. And again, I know we could go all day. You guys have more questions on YouTube than we could possibly answer in one broadcast. But what I want to do is encourage you all to keep the learning going. Again, this will be recorded. You can check out the amazing site of Jasper National Park, see the work that they're doing, check in on this broadcast and others in our Peak Discovery series. If you want to learn more about the amazing work they're doing, go to our Peak Discovery page. Check it out. You'll see our past programs there, the recordings. You'll see all our sessions to come. So much more great stuff coming in the new year. 2022 is going to be very, very exciting. But I just want to turn it over to Marianne and our special guest to say a big thank you so much for joining us today. This has been so much fun and very unique, totally unique. And as you both know, what I'm going to do is bring in all our classrooms to join me in saying a big thank you and farewell. So Miss Tran, Miss Can, Prince Charles, Miss Holly, unmute those mics. Thank you so much for joining us. And have a wonderful evening, everyone.